What's the weirdest thing a babysitter has ever done to you? Story 1. I had a babysitter who was always trying to spank me. It was actually hilarious because she was about 60 years old and not exactly fast, while I was 8 or 9, so she almost never managed to land a hit. She usually tried when I talked back or didn't finish everything on my plate. I remember one night she came after me again, so I bolted upstairs to my parents' room. We used to lock our dog in there while she was babysitting because she was allergic to dogs and terrified of them. So I let the dog out and yelled, "Go, patch attack!" The dog charged down the stairs, barking like crazy because he'd never seen her before and obviously thought she was an intruder. The babysitter ran out barefoot into the snow, sprinted all the way to the neighbor's house across the street, and called my parents from there to tell them she was never coming back. I still laugh about it to this day. Story 2. I had babysitters who were pretty well-known drug dealers in my town. I didn't find out until I was 18. Story 3. When I was about 2 or 3, my babysitter fed me allergy medicine until I overdosed. Turns out she was a psychopath who had lost her own child years earlier and had been poisoning the kids she babysat. I spent weeks in the hospital having seizures and almost died. She got arrested, obviously. Story 4. Our babysitter made my brother and me dance around the dining room table with her. She couldn't even remember if there was music playing. We just went round and round the table. It's one of the weirdest things that ever happened to me. Story 5. When I was about 8, my babysitter, a teenage girl, used to take me into the bathroom with her. She would sit on the toilet with no pants or underwear and make me pee between her legs. Sometimes she even asked me to touch her hairy place. I'm a guy, and at the time I thought it was kind of cool. Did you ever tell your parents? No, but a few months later I got mad about something and told them everything. This was about 28 years ago. I don't remember what happened to her. I'd have to ask my parents if they reported her. All I know is one night they met with her parents. I wonder what became of her. I heard she got pregnant in high school. I always felt guilty because I went along with it willingly. I'm pretty sure if I hadn't said anything and she kept babysitting me, she would have eventually taken my virginity. Story 6. I had a babysitter who broke my nose with a punch because I called her an idiot. I was about 6. Story 7. My neighbor used to babysit me, and she would put a dog leash on me. Her own son was hyperactive and the same age as me, so he was always with us. One day we went to the supermarket, and right before going in, she pulled a dog leash out of her bag and strapped a Velcro wristband to her son. Before I could laugh at him, she pulled out a second one and put it on me too. I walked patiently waiting for her to take it off if I behaved. Yeah, that never happened. Story 8. As a former babysitter myself, I swear I never did anything bad to a kid. Never ignored them, touched them, or bothered them in any way. But when I was about 3, I had a babysitter who pulled my pants down in front of her boyfriend. My parents caught her. The poor girl got absolutely destroyed, verbally I assume. Story 9. When I was little, my cousin used to babysit me and let me do whatever I wanted while she watched her soap operas. I loved tasting pure condiments because I thought if they were good in food, they'd be great on their own. One day I ate a spoonful of salt, several spoonfuls of butter, and almost half a jar of mayonnaise. My stomach hurt like hell afterward, and I passed out on the couch. Other than that, my cousin was awesome, She once baked an apple pie and woke me up at 11 p.m. so I wouldn't miss it. Story 10. My babysitter was a high school girl. I was in elementary school. She watched me and my little sister most afternoons until our parents got home. She wasn't mean, just super lazy. She'd nap on the couch for hours while we played. The worst part was when she started stealing. She found my dad's checkbook, forged a few checks, and took money. Dad noticed, called the bank, and everything pointed to her. My parents also kept about $1,200 cash at home. That disappeared too, but they couldn't prove it was her. They decided not to call the police because they didn't want to ruin her life, and her parents were really nice people. Her parents paid back the forged money, and we never saw her again. I looked her up on Facebook recently. She has 3 daughters now. I wonder if she ever thinks about what she did. Story 11. A babysitter's son tried to molest my little sister when she was 5 or 6, and he was about 12. He kept trying to take her to his room to play and told me and my brother to stay out. The kid was creepy, so I said no way. My older brother and I told our mom, and we never went back to that babysitter. Later, my brother told the kid it was me who snitched, so the boy tried to beat me up every time he saw me at school. He never actually hurt me. The first day he saw me after that, he sat on me as a joke, I think, and said, "Here's your babysitter," like those naughty babysitter porn titles. I was about 15 at the time. Story 12. She never actually babysat me in the end. I fell backward off the kitchen counter, cracked my skull open, and she thought I was dead. Instead of calling an ambulance, she called my mom to tell her. Oh, and she was drunk. Story 13. My babysitter taught me how to play Metroid Prime and let me stay up until 11 p.m. Huge deal for kid me. She also let me watch Cartoon Network. I got lucky. Story 14. One babysitter threatened to pee on me if I didn't obey her. I didn't know whether to listen or not. I also had a friend who threatened the same thing if I didn't call or text her back. Always thought it was a weird way to mark territory. Story 15. My older brother once babysat me. I kept annoying him, so he handcuffed me to a gas pipe in the basement next to the washing machine. At least he brought me sandwich crusts. He's the best. Story 16. My mom loves telling this story. The babysitter fell asleep watching TV. My parents called the house. I answered and told them to speak quieter because the babysitter was sleeping. Yes, she got fired on the spot. Story 17. Our babysitter usually watched me, my 2 sisters, and my 2 cousins, 5 wild kids. Whenever she wanted to play, she'd say in her Mexican accent, "It's the door," and we'd all run and try to bite and chew the front door. Don't try to make sense of it. We were just being idiots and having the time of our lives. Story 18. True story from about 30 years ago. My dad was in the British Merchant Navy, and sometimes my mom went with him. I was a baby. One day they got the chance to go ashore together and needed a babysitter. The first officer, a Scottish guy who loved his drinks, volunteered. He took the job super seriously and didn't touch a drop of alcohol while watching me. When my parents came back, I was perfectly fine, drinking from my bottle that had a little whiskey in it to help me sleep. My parents weren't even mad, just mildly horrified. Dad has tons of crazy Navy stories. This one is actually one of the tamer ones. Story 19. When I was little, two mean teenage sisters used to babysit us. If we misbehaved, they rubbed hot chili peppers on our lips and tongues. They also forced us to take naps by locking us in our rooms and turning off the lights. I was 5 and my parents never made us nap at that age. For some reason, I only ever complained about the nap part. Man, I should have told my parents about the chili thing at least. Luckily, they were just occasional backup sitters. Story 20. My old babysitter's daughter once forced me to make out with her. She woke me up early from nap time, pinned me against the wall when I went to play, and shoved her tongue in my mouth. I fought as much as I could, but it happened anyway. Story 21. When I was 8, my babysitter thought it was funny to hold lit matches close to my face to scare me. I developed severe pyrophobia because of her. I still can't even look at a lighter. Story 22. When I was 6, I had a totally insane babysitter. She used to mock my favorite doll, calling her Big Head. One night while I was brushing my teeth, she grabbed my ankles and dunked my head into the toilet upside down. I told my parents, and of course she got fired. Story 23. I have permanent scars because of 2 different babysitters. First one, I was playing Super Nintendo with a babysitter who had mild Down syndrome. I beat her at the game, started doing a victory dance, and she grabbed my head from behind and slammed my mouth into the console. Split my lip forever. Second one invented a blindfold game where she covered my eyes and told me which way to walk, straight into the corner of a table at eyebrow height. I've got a split eyebrow scar for life. Story 24. At 7 years old, 2 different babysitters traumatized me. One tried to make me jump from a second-floor window onto a tiny exercise trampoline. I chickened out and got stuck on the roof until my dad came home. The other invented death dice. My roll said I would die at 14, hit by a car. The trauma magically disappeared when I turned 15. Story 25. My family wouldn't let me go to the bathroom alone until I was a teenager. I later realized that wasn't normal. I threatened to start telling non-family members, and suddenly my parents got a lot more relaxed. I loved my first apartment because the bathroom had a lock. If I ever have kids, I'll make sure they have an ensuite bathroom when they're old enough. Story 26. My babysitter used to make me drink spoiled milk. I've hated milk ever since. It makes me gag. Story 27. When I was 6, my babysitter took me to her night job cleaning a boarding school and let me wander the empty hallways for hours. A teacher found me and yelled at me for being on school grounds after hours. I didn't even go to that school and had no idea what to say. Story 28. I stopped reading these comments halfway through, went to my daughter's room where she was drawing, and just hugged her. No offense, but after all these stories, the last thing I want is to leave my little girl with a stranger. Story 29. No babysitter ever did anything to me, but once I had to babysit a teenage girl, stuff happens. I actually posted the full story in another thread a while back. Story 30. Reading all these stories blew my mind. There are so many people with experiences like mine. So I made a decision. After 17 years, I'm going to confront her. I know where she is, or at least where her parents live. She can't have gone far. It's time to settle the score with the person who ruined my life. Story 31. I had a babysitter who treated me like trash. She'd send me to her son's stinky room, made me sleep with my shoes on or my feet sticking out of the bed, forced me to eat food I hated, and got mad if it made me sick. One day she gave me a necklace that said brat. I was 6 and didn't know what it meant, but I knew it wasn't nice. Story 32. Just wanted to say I did a couple of babysitting jobs myself, as a guy, only with boys. For some reason people think every man is a creep. Not bragging, but I think I was an awesome babysitter. Played soccer, video games, hide and seek, whatever the kids wanted, and I always follow the parents' rules to the letter. No more than 1 hour of gaming, etc. There's a huge prejudice against male babysitters, but most of us aren't predators. We just love to play with your kids and get paid for it. Story 33. When I was 6 or 7 in Norway, 2 gorgeous 18-year-old Norwegian twin sisters used to babysit me. Whenever I looked sad, they'd hug me and squish me against their huge chests. I got sad a lot. Still makes me emotional thinking about it. Wonder where they are now. I miss them. Story 34. As a teenager, I always tried to get babysitting jobs, but tons of parents wouldn't hire a guy. It's funny reading this thread now and realizing female babysitters can be way worse. Story 35. The best babysitter I ever had was an older lady who ran a daytime home daycare. One day my parents went on a 3-month trip and never came back. They died in a car accident. That lady kept my 2 siblings and me like her own kids for a whole year until we were placed with an adoptive family. She passed away a few years ago. I wish I could have told her how grateful I am. She never expected anything in return. She just did the right thing. Thank you for everything. Story 36. When I was 3, a babysitter forced me to eat canned spaghetti that made me gag. I threw up. Then she said it was nap time and I didn't want to go. So she pulled out a hammer and threatened me with it. Luckily, she didn't use it. I still hate canned pasta. Sounds funny now. Story 37. My friend and I were at my house one night while our parents went out. Our babysitter was the older sister of a kid in our class. We were little monsters and wouldn't listen to anything she said. Eventually, she herded us into the tiny downstairs bathroom and shut the door so we couldn't dodge past her. We'd done that all night. The doorknob was already broken. She closed the door, it clicked, and the handle fell off on the other side. We were all trapped until our parents came home hours later. She was mortified. We kept teasing her the whole time. We can't believe you locked us in here. Bonnie, oh my God. Story 38. I was the weird babysitter in this one. I taught a 6-year-old boy and an 8-year-old girl how to make fake poop by soaking brown paper bags in water, mashing them up, and adding little toys, Legos, marbles, plastic spiders, anything you'd be shocked to find in actual poop. We made a dozen turds and hid them all over the house. At least the parents thought it was hilarious, and the kids got a fun art lesson. And that's it for today's stories, guys. Some of these are absolutely wild. Which one shocked you the most? Drop it in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.